Lovely. So, welcome to today's session to Okinawa. So, just a few housekeeping rules. Like I said, please do keep your mics on mute. And thank you so much for doing it so far. We are recording today's session now, so this will be available to watch back, and it will be sent to all attendees post-session. Last week's was a little bit late, and it will be following out shortly today as well. We will also have a question and answer section at the end. If you do have any questions, just pop your questions into the chat box and we'll pick them up at the end and be sure to answer them. Today we are joined by Visit Okinawa, and our guest presenter is Sandra. So I'd like to welcome her onto the presentation. Welcome, Sandra.
Good morning, everyone.
So I'm your host today, Susanna Barrow. I've been taking you all the way through Japan for the first session and the second session, and we'll be joining you for the last session next week. I'm the Worldwide Product and Operations Director here at Travelpack, so do feel free to ask me any questions. As said, we are doing a 4-part series through Japan, so we have already covered Welcome to Japan, the Gateway to Discovery, where we were joined from Yumi from Japan National Tourist Board and Stephen from Japan Airlines. Session 2, we were joined by Sandra for Shizuoka, and I also presented a key intro to Tokyo for you. Today, we are in Okinawa, Japan's tropical escape. So this one is going to be absolutely beautiful and will sure to change a few people's minds on how Japan is perceived. And then next week, we go to Japan's hidden gem, Shikoku, where we're joined by the Tourist Board and Japan Airlines again. So allow me to introduce our guest speaker, Sandra Kwan from Visit Okinawa, where we're going to learn about why we should send all of our clients to Okinawa. So I am going to change over presentations, so just bear with us while we do so. Lovely, over to you, Sandra.
Thank you. Okay, great. So everyone can see the screen well. Okay, yep. So brilliant. So hi, everyone. So my name is Sandra, and I'm the UK representative for Okinawa Tourism. And I'm delighted to have this opportunity to talk to you all about Okinawa. So thank you, Travelpack, for organising this. So Okinawa Prefecture is one of the 47 prefectures in Japan. And in this session, I will highlight how to get there, how you can get around, why you should visit, and then talk through what makes Okinawa unique, along with a taster of what some of the islands have to offer. So Okinawa is in the UK is certainly becoming more known because people are mostly sort of surprised at their actual beaches in Japan. So especially when it's sort of like in this part of Japan, the usual perception is the bustling bright lights of Tokyo, or the beautiful scenes of Kyoto, Osaka and Hiroshima. And these are the areas, as you know, make up the famous Golden Route. In the UK, Okinawa is actually within the top 10 markets to visit Okinawa. So it's actually sort of growing as we speak. So it's got a huge growth year on year. So it is getting more popular from the UK side. There are different people who are sort of like asking to sort of like, let's put an itinerary together for Okinawa. They just want to do an extended stay, you know, an optional extra to group tours and things like that. So it's really sort of like, it's broadened everyone's mind about Japan as an offering. So, so here's a quick 30-second video just to show you a glimpse of Okinawa. So for those of you who are not familiar with where Okinawa is, it's located in the southernmost part of Japan. So it's between the Pacific Ocean and the East China Sea. So Taiwan is actually its closest neighbour. So it's only an hour and a half by flight. And Tokyo is actually just under 2.5 hours, around 2.5 hours to fly to. So it's closer to Taiwan itself. So getting to Okinawa, so many UK travellers will fly into Tokyo or Osaka, and then they go on the Golden Route, basically. But regardless of where they travel to first, there are airports across Japan that fly to Okinawa. And the closest one being Yoron in Kyushu, which takes about 40 minutes by air. But overall, you have to fly to Okinawa from mainland Japan. Now, typically, UK travellers, they go for about 2 weeks in Japan. So this seems to be like the common length of stay. So it's reasonable to suggest going through the Golden Route, for example, before flying over to Okinawa for a few days to unwind from all the sightseeing, relax a bit before the long journey home. Now, if you have clients who are interested to visit other parts of Asia, then they can simply fly from Okinawa to destinations such as Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, China, Thailand, and Malaysia. And of course, if the trip begins from these Asian destinations, then it's just as easy to fly into Okinawa and then on to mainland Japan if they so wish. So they can sort of reverse the way that they visit Japan. So there are a variety of options to consider, and there's a growing trend of like combining South Korea and Japan. So you can, for example, do the Golden Route first, finish in Okinawa, and then fly on to Seoul afterwards. So it's just as simple as that. So Okinawa is an archipelago of like 160 islands. So 48 of those islands are inhabited. So there are 3 key parts of Okinawa. So you've got the main island here, and this is the biggest island of all. Naha here is the prefectural capital, and it's also where you can fly into. It's the most popular way to get into from mainland Japan. It's just more regular flights, basically. And then surrounding the main island itself are all the different islands. So these are all the different remote islands that are all easily accessible to by either ferry or by flight. And then Miyako Islands here is also a stunning group of islands where a couple of long bridges will connect the islands. So it's really great for self-driving on. And then you've got the Yaeyama region, which basically is another group of islands that have different characteristics, and it makes it perfect for island hopping during your stay. So you can fly direct to each of these 3 parts from mainland Japan. So it's very convenient in that sense. So what makes Okinawa unique? So although a part of Japan, it's still a part of Japan, but there are still a number of experiences that are really unique to Okinawa only that you won't really necessarily find in mainland Japan. So first up is it's a blue zone area. So it's widely recognised as a blue zone, which is the 5 longevity hotspots in the world. And this basically means the population have a longer life expectancy than the global average. So factors include things like a healthy diet, also rich in plant-based foods, have an active lifestyle, the community has strong social well-being, subtropical climate, and all these basically contribute towards the Okinawans enjoying a longer life. Now, the pace in Okinawa is less hurried, it's more relaxed, and the people are just very kind and warm-hearted. So it's got a very strong sense of community, and the Okinawans just simply connect and support with each other. So beaches is probably the widest perception that people have of Okinawa, those who know it. And it's surrounded by crystal clear blue waters, and the waters are definitely as beautiful as that picture there. You've got secluded beaches to luxury beach resorts as well. And of course, like Japan, and in this case Okinawa, it's not known to be a proper beach destination to simply fly and flop. And it won't match those beaches that you find in Indonesia or Thailand, for example. But it has to be said that it certainly makes it a very nice touch to end your trip with after traveling through all the different regions in mainland Japan. And then you can just come to Okinawa to relax and unwind in a beach location. You can still do loads of different activities, but I think the beaches always give a sense of like, you know, you can just completely sort of wind down. And then you do all this before your long journey back home to the UK. So Okinawa offers a different vibe to the rest of Japan. So it's very much for those looking for those who want to continue on in Japan, but just see a very different, unhurried way with the bonus of like the nature, the sun, the sea, and the sand. Now, this is just an example of some sort of beach maps, basically. So on the Visit Okinawa Japan website, you will see a beach information section, which displays all the different beaches available on the different islands. And then for each of the area, you can sort of click on a beach and it drills down to details such as like the dates of the swimming season, whether there's parking available, if there's a lifeguard available, toilets, showers, shops, whether you can barbecue, and all the different marine activities you can sort of do there. So you can just click on a beach and then it will display those details. Now, typically the beach season is from around late March to around end of October. And this means that during this season, it's generally good to swim in the waters and bathe on the beaches. Now, certain beaches may not be suitable for swimming because there are protected coral there. And outside of the beach season, you can still enter the beaches, but you just have to be mindful of swimming in the waters because generally there might not be any lifeguards available, or maybe the sea is a bit more challenging at that time of the year to swim in. So please do get in touch for more information on where is good to go for beaches suitable for like those who want quieter ones or one that just needs to be family friendly and so forth. So nature is another unique thing about Okinawa. So it's got so much to great nature, marine life to offer. So in the northern part of the main island and also Irimoti Island, which is on the Yaeyama region, they are registered as World Natural Heritage Sites. And there's a number of endemic species of flora and fauna that can only be found in Okinawa. And the marine life in Okinawa is just wonderful. So you've got expansive coral reefs, you've got sort of colourful tropical fishes, you've got sea turtles, hammerhead sharks, manta rays, and these can all be spotted in the seas surrounding Okinawa. And those who do go in January to March, then it's the whale watching season. It's kind of like the peak time that you can go out on the boat and then you can sort of like wait for these sort of beautiful creatures sort of breaching in the seas. And then from all of this, it's very obvious that snorkeling and diving are fantastic in Okinawa itself. So another unique thing for Okinawa and why it's unique, so the cherry blossoms. So Okinawa sees the earliest bloom of cherry blossoms of all Japan. So it starts from around about mid-January to mid-February. So it still sits in like the winter months rather than the spring months in mainland Japan. So basically they will start blooming in Okinawa and then it goes and travels up to mainland Japan. So it's a really good time to fit this one in before, you know, like if you don't want to sort of like be in amongst all the heavy crowds. So the flowers of the cherry trees are quite different to those in mainland Japan. They just have a darker pink petals. And although it happens in winter, the temperatures are a bit cooler. So it's about 15 to 17 degrees. So it's actually not too bad for us UK residents. So we should be quite comfortable with that temperature. So it's worth considering staggering when people go to see the cherry blossoms. So you can offer them this other option to go a little bit earlier to Japan. And then perhaps you can suggest sort of combining this trip with whale watching, just to sort of make it a bit more sort of interesting to go to. And then moving on to food and why it's unique for Okinawa. So the roots of modern Okinawan food stretch back centuries to the Ryukyu kingdom, and it's been influenced by other cultures. So the islands of Okinawa prospered as like a trade hub with mainland Japan, so Japan with China as well, and countries of Southeast Asia. So it's creating like a fusion of tastes, basically. So the word champoroo basically means blend or mixture. So it symbolizes Okinawan openness to other cultures. And there are also Okinawan specialities to be enjoyed that visitors can even sort of try the Ryukyu cuisine and also the longevity meals as well. So there are restaurants in Naha on the main island that serve traditional Ryukyu cuisine. Perhaps you can try a restaurant that serves this whilst you sort of watch a traditional Ryukyu dance. And then in the northern part of the main island, you can take a visit to Ogimi village, which is the village of long life. And you can enjoy sort of longevity meals served at selected restaurants here. And then on Ishigaki Island, which is in the Ayama region, you can enjoy eating local traditional dishes in like a traditional Okinawan house. So Okinawa is famous for its traditional music and dance, which are actually very different from mainland Japan. So some of the restaurants in Okinawa, they provide not only the dining experiences, but also sort of live performances of Okinawa music and dance. So it's all very lovely. And then awamori is basically the oldest distilled alcoholic drink in Japan, with 600 years of history. So awamori is like distilled using sort of black koji, which is a rice mold, and indica rice, which originated from Thailand. So the taste is deeper and milder because of the aging process. And it's, so I know people are sort of used to sort of drinking sake, for example, in mainland Japan, which tends to be a little bit softer, but awamori is sort of like is stronger, and it's best served on the rocks or with water. So yes, you would actually add a bit of water just to sort of dilute it a bit, because it is quite strong tasting. Now, the unique history and culture of Okinawa, this is very interesting and sets it apart from mainland Japan. So Okinawa was once an independent region called the Ryukyu Kingdom. So from the 14th century, that was when, this was the Ryukyu Kingdom. Then it became an Okinawa prefecture of Japan in 1879. Then after World War II, it was under the administration of the USA. But then it returned to Japan in 1972. So the history has really sort of like gone through different times, and therefore it's very unique from mainland Japan itself. So Okinawa will have a unique mix of like different cultures, so from Japan, Asia, and the USA. So so there will be some parts of on the main island where you will see some sort of like American influence there as well. So there are 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites to visit on the Okinawa main island itself, and as you can see on the map here, they are dotted around from the north to the south. So those who are like culture vultures, for example, then they can certainly take a tour, maybe sort of like check with Travelpack's DMC whether they can, organize a tour that will just be a very historical, history and culture type of tour. The very key one is Shurijo, which is the castle that is the symbol of the Ryukyu Kingdom, and it's located in Naha, which is on the main island. Now, unfortunately, a fire caused serious damage to the castle in 2019, and so it's been undergoing like a restoration process. So the extensive restoration works have been carried out with the support of like skilled artisans, experts, and local volunteers. But I'm pleased to announce that Shurijo Castle's Seiden Hall, which is the main hall, will actually officially reopen with the opening ceremony on the 22nd November this year, 2026, before opening to the public the next day, the 23rd November 2026. So this is a major an achievement and a really big announcement to be made from Okinawa. So the reopening marks a significant milestone in the restoration of one of Okinawa's most important cultural and historical landmarks. So the castle is located in Shurijo Castle Park, which basically at the moment, since the works have been going on, people can actually walk around the park itself whilst the castle has been completing its finishing touches. Now, karate, also another unique feature of Okinawa. It was born in Okinawa, so I think people would think it's a Japan thing, a martial art from Japan, but it was actually stemmed from Okinawa. It was listed as an official competition in the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, which Okinawa won first gold medal in this competition. So as a unique experience, visitors to Okinawa have the opportunity to learn about karate. They can even take part in this martial art, as there are like various dojos on the main island that can be recommended. So please do get in touch for more details, because you may have some visitors who might just want to learn about it. So you can learn about the culture of karate, the history about it, and even sort of like have a little go as well. Now let's have a quick look at some of the islands of Okinawa. So on here, Okinawa main island is basically the biggest island, and it's separated into 3 parts. So you've got the southern area where Naha City is, central area, and also the northern area. And most of the population live on this main island. Now, to get around, and this is a very common question asked, how to get around the main island itself. So the main island has public transportation. So you've got the monorail, you've got buses and taxis, which make traveling between the destinations quick and convenient. So there are no sort of trains as such to get through the main island itself. So it's different to mainland Japan, and the transport system is slightly less sophisticated than sort of like Tokyo, for example. But you can certainly hire a car, so and self-drive, so this will help you to get to your destinations a lot easier. Otherwise, taxis are generally quite cheap. They're a bit cheaper anyway than main island of Japan. So and in Naha, there is the monorail, which is called the Yui Rail, and this is very easy and convenient to use to travel around the city. So it's only in the Naha area that you would use this monorail. So there's 19 stations in Naha that you can travel on. So it's very easy to just get a ticket and just hop on and off. And it also goes to and from the airport as well, which takes about 20 minutes to go from Naha Airport to Koksai-dori, which is basically the main strip of Naha. And the website for this Yui Rail leads you to like a sub website which gives you suggestions on what sort of model course you can take. So for example, your client just wants to do a shopping thing in Naha, so then they can just opt to see which stops they need to get off to get to all the shops that's available there. Or you can do a history and culture route, and then that would take you also to Shuri Castle as well. And then, yes, it will just list you what those routes are using the rail itself. And then all the other ones are, as I mentioned, you can hire a vehicle to drive around. I think on the remote islands, it would probably be very good to hire a car, just because it's more simpler on the roads to travel around. And I do understand some visitors might not feel comfortable driving in the main island with vehicles, but there's options. Taxis, as I mentioned, and then also buses as well. They are sort of like, they connect all the popular tourist spots. So you've got local buses, you've got limousine buses, shuttle buses and things like that. So there might be like hotels might have their own sort of airport shuttle bus. So you can go from the airport direct to the hotel without having to worry about that type of transfer. And then we also got express ferries, which basically they will take you around to either different islands, or they can go up along to the main island itself. So for example, on here, this map, so you've got Naha here, so you can actually, if you want to bypass the traffic going through this part here to get to the northern part of the main island, you can actually get an express ferry, which takes about just over an hour, and you can get to Motobu port, which is the northern part of the main island, and then yeah, it takes just over an hour. Otherwise, it's basically, it can get a little bit congested on the roads on the main island itself, but that express ferry will supercharge you to that side as well. And then just a split into those three areas of the main island itself. So the southern part of the main island is an urban area where Naha is, and where you are likely to arrive by air. So key attractions, as I mentioned, Shurijo Castle, you've got Koksai-dori, which is basically palm tree lined strip with all the sort of the restaurants, your bars and nightlife and things like that. There's a Valley of Gangala, which is a natural wonder, which is shaped by limestone caves and lush subtropical forests. If you are more into like the spirituality things, you can experience this in Sefa Yutaki, which is one of the most sacred places in Okinawa. So it's a really lovely little walk to go through. And also you can cycle around Naha city. So there are sort of like suppliers that would actually take you on a little tour on either normal bikes or e-bikes to get around Naha city itself. So, and then other experiences include like a karate class and a cooking class as well. Now the central area is more of a resort area, and it includes luxury beach resorts. It's also got great nightlife, entertainment, restaurants and bars, and it takes about 30 minutes to an hour from Naha to reach there. And it's also mixed with an interesting variety of like cultural experiences that visitors can enjoy, from exploring like the UNESCO World Heritage Castle ruins to textiles, weaving, pottery workshops. You can also watch local craftsmen work on their piece of art, or you can make your own Okinawan crafts. Now this central area also has like sort of like American influenced part as well. So there might be some American eateries and buildings and things like that. And then when you go up to the northern area, this is a region which is famous for the longevity of its residents. So visitors who are interested in Okinawan weaving can also try their hand at this thing called bashofu, which is the oldest weave in Okinawa and made from the fiber of banana leaves. And this is a rare kind of weaving which can be experienced at Ogimi village, which I mentioned earlier on. The Yambaru area here is of vast green nature, and that's registered as a UNESCO World Heritage Natural Heritage Site. And in contrast to all this, there's also a theme park as well that you can go to, which is great for sort of all the family, with a huge spa area as well. So moving on to the remote islands, you've got Kerama Islands, which is a group of islands located near the main island itself. So the nearest is Tokushiki Island, which is only 40 minutes by high-speed ferry from Naha City. So very much welcome to sort of like do like a day trip there as well. So if you're staying in Naha, for example, because there's not many sort of, well, there's hardly any sort of beach hotels in Naha itself, you can just get a ferry to a nearby beach if you want to go to another island. So that's totally doable in a day. So Kerama Islands are made up of 4 inhabited islands and are renowned for the crystal clear blue seas that are home to sort of many corals. So the blue sea is so distinctive here that it's called Kerama Blue. Great for diving and snorkeling, and it's certainly doable for a day trip, as I mentioned. And then you've got Kuma Island, which is located about 40 minutes by air from Naha City. It's home to the unique Hatanahama beach, which is pictured here. So this long white sandbar is only accessible by boat, and it's just a stunning beach to go on. So here you can swim with sea turtles, manta rays. You can also take a hike to the castle ruins. It is a historical place because it was once a trading port between the Ryukyu Kingdom and China. And also recommended on Kuma Island are the local specialty sort of tiger prawns, and also the local aramori, which you can do a distillery tour for. Miyako Islands, which I'm sort of hearing more and more people are trying to sort of reach there. So it's another island group that is located 50 minutes by air from Naha City. And it's also, you can reach it by air from Tokyo and Osaka. So it has 8 main islands, to which in Miyako is the largest. The sea is stunning here with large coral reefs, got white sandy beaches. Many divers and snorkeling enthusiasts can come here to these islands every year. And it's also great for island hopping, and there are 2 bridges that are really long that connect the islands together, so you can do self-driving here and enjoy the views of the sea this way. It's usually easier and more relaxed to drive here on the smaller islands. So Miyako is also the place where you can experience making traditional textiles, Miyako Jofu, which is one of the national heritage of Japan as well. So I would always recommend that you can probably stay a few days on Miyako Island itself. So it's worth doing that. And then finally, the Yaeyama Islands. So Ishigaki is the gateway to the Yaeyama Islands, and it's located 60 minutes by air from Naha. But you can also fly from Tokyo, Osaka and Fukuoka as well, direct to Ishigaki. So you can bypass the main island and go straight to these group of islands. These islands are quite different to each other, so it's really good to sort of do island hopping and experience something different on each one. So by just 15 minutes by ferry from Ishigaki to Takatomi Island, you'll find a beautiful quaint village, traditional Okinawan style houses, red tile roofs. It's a quieter island, slower pace of life, not many vehicles around. In fact, it's recommended to hire a bike and then just cycle around basically. Cycling around the island will take about an hour. I went there and I hired these fat bikes basically with like really sort of thicker tires, and they're really comfortable to ride on. There's also beautiful beaches here. When I went in November, it was lovely and sunny, and then Kondoi Beach, which is in Takatomi Island, which was really incredible with really clear blue waters. Now, in contrast to Takatomi Island, Irimoti Island, which takes about 45 minutes by ferry from Ishigaki. It's 90% jungle, but it still has beaches as well. It's registered as a UNESCO Natural World Heritage Site, and it's also possible to do a day trip to Irimoti Island from Ishigaki. But if you can, it's you can sort of stay overnight to really enjoy the nature of the island. You've got Tepinasaira, which is the tallest waterfall in Okinawa, and it really offers like spectacular views from the top. And it's about an hour and a half to walk to the waterfall. So it's a popular trekking spot on the island. So if you've got some sort of like quite active clients who might like gentle walks or sort of bit of hiking, then this is a really good island to go to. The Yaeyama Islands as a whole is renowned for their high quality stargazing. So the Irimoti Ishigaki National Park is designated as an international dark sky park. So and it's possible to see 84 out of the known 88 constellations from Ishigaki Island. So experiences on Ishigaki Island here, I've just sort of like listed a few. That's basically, we've got some local DMCs that would offer these experiences. So on Ishigaki Island, 16 minutes from Naha, you've got cultural things like weaving workshops, dyeing workshops. You've got outdoor activities, which include like canyoneering. You've got marine activities, which includes like a mangrove tour and canoeing as well. And then some of the sort of like the key highlights is exploring Kabira Bay, which is a really beautiful scenic spot with sort of like a beautiful beach as well. Diving, snorkeling, and also listening to the island folk songs and the unique sounds from the sanshin, which is a beautiful 3-stringed instrument. Then Takatomi Island, which is a smaller island that I mentioned. There's lots of local traditions that are held here, so traditional song and dance performances. And then minso weaving, which is basically just like a nice sort of craft activity. There are demonstrations and also displays of it. Hire a bike, as I mentioned, to cycle around the island and swim on Kondoi Beach as well. So yes, leisurely strolling through the traditional town. And then Irimoti Island, so you can do an island tour, you can do kayaking, hiking to the Pinasaira waterfall, caving, canyoning, stargazing as well, and kayaking in the mangroves. So I think the kayaking bit is really special just because it's so calm. So you don't need to be like a really sort of high level kayaker. You can just be anyone really. So you can just sit in there and just sort of like do a couple of hours just canoeing gently through the mangroves. And those who love trekking can do that through the dense jungles, but it's recommended to have a guide as well. And then Yonaguni Island, and this is probably least most visited, but it's on the westernmost island of Japan, and it takes about 30 minutes by air from Ishigaki, and it's also the last the island where you can view the last sunset in Japan as well. So this island is basically more suited to those who really love diving, because you can dive with the hammerhead sharks around here in the winter months. So if you do have any avid sort of divers, then yes, this island is very good to go. And then the pony, like Yonaguni horse, is a rare breed that is only native in Okinawa. So just some like a couple of sample itineraries here, which you can just really sort of adjust. You can spend, I would say, spend 2 nights, 3 days in Okinawa. So you could do a bit of culture and beach. So options would be flying to Naha, visit Shoujo Castle, shop at Kokusai Street with all the restaurants and nightlife. You could look at the pottery workshops as well, the Suboya Yachimun, do some self-guided tours using the monorail, go on a cooking class. So the cooking class is really great because the person will take you into the Makushi market, which you can see all the local produce, all the sort of like food there, taste a bit of it. Then you do your shopping, take it to the cooking studio, and then enjoy cooking a meal together to eat as well. You can do half-day cycle tours in Naha, and also look at the traditional arts and crafts centre. Then if you want to, if you want to see a bit of beach, then you can do a day trip to Onna Coast, which is basically an hour, just over an hour by car from Naha, and then you can just sort of relax on there. Or you could do a day trip to one of the Kerama Islands, so 40 minutes by fast ferry. You could go and see the beaches and the snorkeling. If you want to extend it to maybe 4 days in Okinawa, so culture, beach and island hopping. So just staying on the main island and then just one of the islands next to it. So Naha day 1, and then fly to Miyako Island. So it's 50 minutes by air from Naha. So spend maybe 3 nights on Miyako Islands, do some island hopping, diving, snorkeling, taste some of the fresh island seafood and natural foods as well, do an Aomori tour. And then from Miyako Islands, you can fly back to Tokyo and then on your way home again. So this is a fun map. When it's best to go to Okinawa. So this little fun sort of weather chart. As you can see, spring starts from March, sorry, and it's the opening of the beach season. So it's a great time to explore on foot, like hiking and walking. I would say generally March, April is a good time to visit Okinawa. So great to enjoy the beaches. Temperatures start to rise to about mid-20s. It's generally less crowded just because it's not peak travel. So the local Japanese won't be holidaying here. And then if the UK visitors, if they really love cherry blossoms, then obviously they can go to Japan. They can go to mainland Japan after Okinawa at this point as well. So yes, so they can sort of combine all that. Summertime, obviously everyone knows Japan is super hot, and Okinawa tends to be hot as well, but it's like slightly cooler just because you're, you know, surrounded by oceans. Lots of things going on in the summer. So that you've got the Harry Dragon boat races, you've got all the summer festivals, ritualistic sort of dances like the Easter festivals as well. All the nature activities come to life here. So all the diving, snorkeling, paddling. I think all the all the marine activities are great in the summer. So July and August will be hot, and it will reach the 30s and above, but it will be slightly cooler than mainland Japan. So, but it will be also busier with the domestic travel as well, because they do come to Okinawa as a sort of holiday destination in summer. And then autumn, another good time to visit are September, October, November. So really great season to enjoy lots more sort of outdoor sports and activities, and the temperatures will drop down to more pleasant levels. And then winter, as I said, view the cherry blossoms here. That's probably one of the key highlights for some people, and also the whale watching. So what is Okinawa great for? So families, couples, honeymooners, repeat visitors to Japan, and those seeking adventure, as there are plenty of outdoor activities to choose from land to sea activities, and also those who are looking to extend their trip from mainland Japan and still experience and carry on with a bit more of Japan, basically. So Okinawa is not just about the beaches. It's got all the unique history and culture. You've got the food, the nature, and all the people are definitely what makes it worth a visit. And so here are my contact details, and this is the website visitokinawajapan.com, which you'll literally find lots of different great information on there. So that's me, basically. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that was a useful insight to what Okinawa can offer. Very different to mainland Japan. It's really definitely well worth the visit, just because it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. That was fantastic. And yeah, my first foray into Okinawa was doing a large Japan karate trip out there. So for some agents. So yeah, there's a lot to see and do out there. We do obviously have our top selling Okinawa tours. So for example, we can do many different variations. So on our agent website and our Facebook group, you will see that we have an Okinawa nature discovery tour. We have the cultural tour. We also do an Okinawa island hopping tour where we'll take you right out to Ishigaki as well. I am currently working on a brand new tour for Travelpack. So, and this does relate into a little bit of something that I've been reading. So I would also recommend, if you're looking to get right into the Japan culture and especially Okinawa and really understand, there is a fantastic practice called Ikigai, if I can say it correctly. So Ikigai, I've got a couple of books on it, goes without saying myself, and it basically means about finding your purpose, and it takes you right into the Japanese culture. However, once you start really reading into it, you start to realize that it's actually about Okinawa culture, being the blue zone, and you know, having so many people live into over 100 in a certain population is really unique. There's only 5 places in the world. So if you do really want to find and dive in headfirst to Japan, then I recommend picking up one of these books and really discovering. Leads me on to say that we will have, I'm working on a brand new spiritual tour for Okinawa. So it is discovering that blue zone, the longevity village, and then we'll obviously finish with a lovely bit of stargazing as well. So these are a few of our top selling tours. As you can see, it does cover the main sights and sounds of Okinawa. So doing the castle tours and local culture is fantastic. Obviously, you've got your karate as well, so we can mix it in with a little bit of culture. And then if your clients do want to go out to Ishigaki, we can actually just bolt that on as a little couple of nights with the tour included for you. So do keep an eye up on our Facebook later today. The tour going up today is actually going to be based on Okinawa's cherry blossom season. So as Sandra mentioned, it is a little bit earlier in the season compared to Tokyo and such. So that means that we will be traveling out early February. This does mean that we get fantastic rates to travel at that time. So keep an eye out today. It will be going live at 9 o'clock. It'll have a little mini Tokyo stopover, and then we'll travel to 7 nights on Okinawa Island, discovering all the cultural sites. So that's everything from us today. I'd like to say thank you to Sandra, and thank you for everyone to attending. And do we have any questions? Come out of the main screen so I can obviously read them. So just go to the thingy. So Bespoke Travellers asked if we can create bespoke trips. That is pretty much how I joined Travelpack. I used to be one of the ex-Japanese specialists. Megan, who has been joining us for our recent sessions, isn't available today, but yes, we can put through bespoke groups. We can do the most popular one we get is the karate clubs for sure, wanting to go out, and we can book you in with the karate groups. You can have your trainer, 3-day workshops, and really get right into it, or you can just have a quick introduction. So we can absolutely do groups. Obviously, we do have Japan Airlines as well with some really great rates that we're able to pick up, and some fantastic DMCs in that area to just be able to totally bespoke it to what your clients are looking for. All the contact details will be shared afterwards, we can pass on all the details for Megan for you at Bespoke Traveller. Does anyone else have any questions that they'd like to pose to the group? No, it's obviously been a very informative session, Sandra. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, looking forward to definitely getting there next year for sure.
Amazing.
Without a doubt. So thank you everybody for joining today. And I'll see you next week for Shikoku at the same time, same place. So we'll pop the link up at 9 p.m. on Sunday, ready for everyone to sign up. And yeah, please do keep an eye out tonight for our Okinawa Cherry Blossom holiday offer. So thank you, everybody, and I'll close the session now. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.